Have you always been a clothes horse? Were you always interested in what you look like?
Welcome back to M's Adventures. Today is part 2 of a catch-up with Jason, the nude art model. Last time I left you hanging with the question if he's a dress horse, which is perhaps ironic since he's a nude model. So this time we'll find out about that. We'll also we'll talk about body image, dating, and so many other things. Enjoy.
Have you always been a clothes horse? Were you always interested in what you look like? In your clothing, stuff like that?
I would say generally, I mean, with phases here and there. When I was a kid, not so much. But part of it was as I started to get my own money, as I started to work my own jobs, I could obviously had more freedom about what I wanted to wear and got different clothes. Prior to that, like in middle school and elementary school, my parents bought clothes for me.
Sure.
Frankly, they weren't very stylish.
Okay.
That I thought they were. Yeah, my dad was kind of one of the people like, well, if you can't get it at Sears, you can't get it anywhere. Kind of like, I'm like, they just weren't good. So, that's why I have several pairs of designer jeans I'm finally able to fit into. And when I'm saying designer, these are like Armani, Versace. They're the real deal from Italy. Wow. That I wasn't able to wear for a while.
It should be Levi's.
Well, there's something I've also noticed that and nothing against Levi's, but
they're the original jean.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed for jeans and like certain clothing, there's a point I think where once you spend a certain amount, stuff just looks and fits better. Now, I will say that one of the most comfortable pairs of jeans that I had, I got like a year ago from like Target. And the only reason I don't wear them anymore is because they're too big for me now. That I may actually go back and pick up another pair because I'm like, okay, yeah, they're cheap $25 jeans, but they look nice.
Yeah. If they make your derriere look good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's, I think, cheap. The important thing.
Yeah.
In clothing.
Yeah, they, but I usually was a clothes horse. And like I said, during the dark times, so to speak, I kind of, that stuff fell to the wayside.
The 10 years you spent on your couch on
You're
the
right.
internet.
Now that I'm starting to come back again, I'm like, there's more clothes I want to get, but I'm being a bit more, not strategic. I'm like, I don't want to, let's get a couple pieces here, a couple pieces there, and then over the span of a year or two, you're going to have more clothes than you think you do.
Right.
So, but just, it's something I just, like being able to wear nicer things. It just kind of, makes me feel nice. It just, when you want to attract other people, and that's a way to go ahead and, there's only so much you can do about your actual personal appearance, but you can certainly.
No, I mean, you can be well trimmed. You can have a nice haircut. Have your facial hair and your ear hair, whatever it is.
Yeah, you have it all trimmed.
Not have the ear hair and the nostril hair
right.
sticking out.
Yeah.
And that segues nicely into, how come you're single?
And I remember,
why is a nice eligible guy like you single?
And I remember, I think, didn't you say one of your friends had actually asked that? You were mentioning that about the blog.
There aren't that many single guys that are eligible.
Well, you know what it is? I haven't been actively looking, but I do plan to do it at some point.
But even if you're not actively looking, how come it hasn't found you?
I don't really know. I can say, obviously, for a lot of times when I had that period of time where I had my life on hold, because I'm not emanating positivity, I think that's something people, if you look good and if you got positive energy, people can pick up on that.
Yeah, nobody wants to be attracted to loser.
Right, exactly.
If you smell like loser.
Right, exactly. That's,
I hate myself.
Yeah, people have.
Or I don't like my life.
Yeah, people have a sixth sense for that. So I wasn't actively looking, and even if I was, the vibes I'd be putting out were not conducive to that.
Well, they found another loser.
Yes. They say in DC, I was reading this on Reddit, there's apparently more single women than there are men.
Mm-hmm.
But
another reason why it's weird.
It's just, it's every time I'm out and about, well, not every time, but a lot of times when I'm out and about, I'll just take a look to see if somebody's got a ring on their finger.
Uh-huh.
And chances, even if I'm not even interested in them. And chances are a lot of them do, which is funny because the divorce rate, I think, is something like 50%, yet it seems like everybody I see here, they're married.
Well, I think the divorce rate is around 53%.
Oh, so even higher.
And so, for example, we're surrounded by lots of tables with women only. And that one doesn't have a wedding ring on.
It's... Part of it, too, is I'm also looking for somebody
Do we
my
have to
age.
leave?
I can get for you today?
Oh,
You're telling us we have to leave.
No, you don't have to. You can sit.
You need our table.
No, I don't need. We don't need it at all. You can chill. We're gonna plug.
Or if you could bring the heating lamp over.
heating lamp. So we have the original one right
I know,
there.
I've been getting burned.
That's heating very well.
Yeah, I've been getting burned.
Just checking. Is there anything else?
No, I think we're.
oh
do
I'm
you wanna,
fine. I'm
yeah.
full.
All right, no rush. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
You don't want another
Appreciate
beer?
it.
You're like,
No, I'm fine.
I'll be able to not walk myself
Yeah.
home.
No, and the thing is, I'm obviously looking to date somebody my age, and I don't see
Well,
that
you
many.
mean within a 10-year range.
Well, right. I'm not looking not like actually like 48 years old, but I would say between mid 40s to mid 50s.
Wait. You got a couple years younger since the last time I talked to you?
Yeah, I'm 48.
That's good. Keep working it. Keep working it. Next time I talk to you, you'll be 46.
Yeah, seriously, time goes backwards.
Yeah, it's all right. The dead for Mork.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm aging myself here. We
Oh,
won't
no.
tell anyone how old I am.
Nanu.
Nobody will most of my listeners are between 25 and 40.
Oh, it's funny too, because at work sometimes I was telling somebody I have to be careful with some of my references, just 'cause some of the younger people won't get it. Like, I was thinking about this. It was one of my coworkers at one point said something like, "Oh yeah, my son's got a friend. I don't like him that much, but he kind of reminds me of Eddie Haskell. All right, from Leave It to Beaver."
Oh, I never watched that.
Oh, okay. Well, his whole shtick was he was totally two-faced. That
okay.
he'd be guy. Wally, if we have to bring that loser idiot brother of us when we go out to the fair day, we're gonna. Oh, hello, Mrs. Cleaver. I was just saying how great it would be if your younger son would be able to join us for our outing today. It was one of those
That's
very
terrible.
very
Yeah, you don't want
two-faced.
anyone to have two-faced friends.
Right, but what it was like when my friend used it, I knew exactly who he was talking about. Most people who work at my office now, they're young enough, they wouldn't understand it.
Right.
But I'm looking for people like in about like you said, about a 10 or 12 year range.
But not older than you.
Oh no! Even in like their early 50s, I'd be early to mid 50s. I'd be
10
fine.
either
with.
way?
Yeah.
So we're talking. So now you're 46. Wait, 48.
48.
So 38 to 58.
Well, I would probably even mid 50s. I mean, you're right. You probably at 58, you're probably getting to the point where people are going through another life journey at that point.
Wait until you get to 58.
Yeah. But
Then you'll be like, I would like 22 to 26.
Yeah, that's
like every other douchebag out there. You're not a douchebag. You're not going to be like that.
I was funny, and then you mentioned that. I was talking with a friend. We were having a chat on Facebook years ago, and there used to be a bar in D.C. About a block away from our office called Rumors, and it was definitely one of those places that like attracted like the old dirty old man stand.
Didn't that become the 18th Street Lounge, and now it's something else?
No, 18th Street Lounge is about a block over, and that has become something else.
Yeah.
But, so my friend and I were joking, and said, "Oh yeah, Rumors at a dirty old man bar." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not a dirty old man." She replied back, "You're not a dirty old man yet."
Yes, exactly,
And I thought that was,
yeah.
I need to...
And of course, those guys you were talking were probably like 35.
Yeah, right. No, from the Yelp reviews about this place, I think they were definitely dudes in their 50s and...
Oh, okay.
beyond.
Yeah. And there are lots of people who have huge age differences, and it's all hunky-dory, lovey-dovey.
I just think, honestly, for the average person of that age range, I just think there were just enough stuff that we just don't have in common. Part of that is just you get from life experiences. Having said that, I've known plenty of mature women in their early 20s that, just have enough specialized interests where we could find some things in common. I just think, again, in terms of experience, it's just something I want to have somebody who's, They'd either be Generation X or Millennial. I don't,
Yeah.
I think I was telling you at one point, probably mid-30s would probably be like the very downward limit.
Yeah, because so then I have to ask, not that I'm setting up your dating profile, but women, I would assume that women who, well, this is a terrible thing to assume because I think there needs to be a lot of room in this world for single people, as they call them, families of one, whatever you want to call it, because there are a lot of people in this world who have chosen not to live with someone else. And I can't remember the term. Someone told me the term.
Oh, I think I know what you're
is that
talking
called?
about. Well, not confirmed bachelor. That's totally different.
No.
thing.
It's like married to themselves sort of terminology.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I was like, what? And it basically just means, look, I'm happy with myself in my life.
Well,
And don't try to set me up. I'm not missing half of somebody, or I don't need another half.
Well,
This is complete. Anyway,
I was talking with a coworker recently, and I want to say she's in her late 50s, maybe even early 60s. And we were talking about, I don't know if it was like one of her relatives had a health issue or one of her relatives' friends had a health issue. And I was thinking, sometimes I would want to be with somebody for no other reason than I get to that age and I have like a stroke or something and someone will be there to go ahead and call the ambulance and I'm not going to be, no
is
one
that a
finding
good
my
reason?
body.
This is personally, that's a totally legit reason.
Well, I'm serious.
But you could wear that little thingy around your neck.
Oh, the not life.
Yeah,
but,
the life.
Not life hack.
What's it called?
I know what you're. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just can't
The
think of the
little,
name.
help me, I've fallen. But
Yeah, but I was kind of like,
Well, by the time you get to that age,
or if
I
I'm
think
choking.
the house will already have AI, so your phone will already alert the authorities. Hopefully, the watch that you're wearing will alert the authorities. Oh, this person is having a
medical episode.
A medical episode. And call 911. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, and
So I don't know if you need a human for that because they might be, at yoga or something.
Well, yeah. Well, no, that's true too. One thing though is, I would definitely like to find somebody either working in the arts or in an arts-related field.
Really? Would you want them to be nude model?
No, if they were, that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
I would never say anything, obviously.
all
There are art model relationships. I'm aware of a couple of them in the DC, art
Yeah.
world. So it does happen. But even if she were a, artist, author,
You'd prefer that?
yeah, somebody with a more creative.
Someone creative?
Uh,
But maybe she's practical too.
well,
And
there's
has
nothing-
like a day job that, pays the bill and then does other stuff.
Oh no, and I'm not totally
Yeah.
discounting that. Like if she's an artist, but she has like a 9-to-5 job at the World Bank or something like that, but she has experience painting and
Yeah.
drawing. She does that.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
And now you're getting at an age where either the woman will not be able to have children, or she will have children, or she will want them desperately if she's maybe, I don't know, but reaching the end of her fertile
Childbearing,
spectrum, or
yeah.
whatever it's called. How would you feel about that?
I don't know if I would really want kids if they were part of her. If they were her kids, I think that would be a different story. I'm certainly not looking to have a family. I'm in my late 50s or my late 40s.
Wow, you keep swinging in
yes.
age there.
Yeah, I
You're
was
going
thinking
from
it.
46 to 56, and we were
No,
like,
I was thinking ahead, and I know, especially for men, that's where the
you
chance
can keep
of,
having them until you're 100.
but the chance of them having like a birth defect or autism or things like that.
Yeah,
it
but
does
now you can
elevate
just
it.
get a genetic test.
Oh, to see if that's a.
Yeah. So
The other thing is, I don't think I wouldn't have the energy for it. All the the wisdom part. Well,
yeah,
and-
there's no genetic test for that.
no, and even in terms of wisdom, I don't know how much that would help me because I was an only child. So it's not like I have a whole lot of other experiences with younger brothers and sisters.
Well, you were raised.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not like I'd be totally clueless. I just don't really
You're
see.
raised and you're a functioning human being.
But I just don't. For me, I don't really have much in the way of a desire, and I suspect if the woman is about my same age and childless, she's would have long ago made the decision not to
Right.
have kids. So
And maybe
I'm fine
she's
with
also
that.
looking for someone to be there when she has her medical emergency.
Right, exactly.
Which seems to be an incredibly honest approach to a partnership.
Yes. Can you just be there to give me the Heimlich maneuver when I choke on a chicken bone or something in my 60s? That'd be really great.
Well, some people think that marriages or partnership, whatever you want to call it, is about having somebody there. But some people think it's about having somebody that they enjoy doing the same things with.
Well, and I think there's definitely something to be said for that too.
So you discount the people because there's some people in marriages, for example, or partnerships where their partner does not enjoy the same hobbies that they enjoy. So they don't always go to everything together, right? Their partner might not enjoy going to sporting events or going to yoga or whatever it is, right? So then they
Yeah.
go off and do that thing with their other friends who like to do that sort of thing.
Right. And I think as long as we have a couple of mutual interests, it doesn't matter if we're different in a lot of other regards. Somebody who likes to go out all the time, especially at night, probably would, if I were in my 20s or 30s, that would be fine.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that would not be as much of a thing for me. Someone who wants to go to like art galleries, art exhibitions, maybe go to the theater, things
Yeah.
like that. I'm not a huge like live music person, so that just doesn't. Not that I hate it; just doesn't
Yeah.
interest me. But there's other
But do
people.
you
who
like art galleries?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I love going to art
Oh,
galleries.
okay.
I love. Haven't been to the theater in ages, but that's something I'd like to do.
Yeah.
If they do something at the Kennedy Center.
Do you like to travel?
I don't want to say I don't. It's just most of the travel I've done is for work, and that's kind of a different beast.
Actually, I think that I remember this. You don't like to travel for the sake of travel.
It was one of those things that it just never. I don't want to say I don't dislike it. I just don't have an urge.
Okay, so but if you had a partner who loved to travel, so every year, they go 4 or 5 times to different places all over the world, would you not do it?
That might be a bit overkill if you're talking about like, hey,
Now we're going on a cruise to Antarctica.
Right, or
now
maybe
we're going to Rome.
Now we're going to Napa
we're gonna
Valley.
go to Bali.
Right, something like that. If it was like every year, that'd be different. It gives you something to save up for.
No, some people do it 4 or 5 times a year.
Oh no, I know they do that. I could not
No.
do that. There's other people who like to do that stuff though, and
Yeah.
more power to them. That would just not be my.
That's not you.
No, that would
Okay.
not be my thing. Travel like day trips and things like that, different story.
Oh,
You
okay.
do something on Saturday, Sunday, take a long weekend,
Yeah.
go get a cabin somewhere.
Okay.
Those things, I could definitely do that.
So you're more like a local guy.
Yeah,
I'll enjoy the free museums
right.
because DC has free museums.
It's
I'll
the
enjoy the walks, the going to the gym together,
yeah.
that kind of thing. Cooking steak at home because you're a good cook, right?
Yeah, with a limited variety. It's kind of like
Right,
but yeah, I can cook for myself, which is,
Or
and I cook a
two.
full meal. Right, I can cook
Or
a full
two.
meal. It's not just,
Yeah. With the
Ramen.
pairing, with
Yeah, right.
with drink pairing.
yeah, exactly.
Right, I see your posts.
Yeah.
No,
I put up a really
legit.
good, I made a really good charcuterie plate the other
Oh,
weekend.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
with
got
this
legit cooking
killer
abilities.
sour cherry jelly,
Oh.
which is amazing with cheese.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. I love sweet, spicy, savory, sour things with fatty,
Oh,
savory
yeah.
things.
Those are
so,
good. That's a good
So I
thing.
actually love meat with jam. Whatever
Really?
you call it. Jelly. Because, for example, when I lived in Finland, you serve reindeer with a jelly, a berry
okay.
jelly.
Oh,
So it's very normal, just like kind of in the U.S. you eat pork chops with applesauce.
right.
It's the same idea.
Or like lamb with mint jelly.
Lamb with mint. Oh my gosh, that's delicious. So I like any of that kind of meat with sweet berries or fruit.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
with the sour cherry jam. I had this Cambozola, which is a mix of Camembert and
Camembert and gorgonzola.
Right, delicious.
Yes, delicious.
Had some pate and had some prosciutto. So
Yeah,
really nice
prosciutto.
I've heard like another pronunciation. It was kind of like I had to have that person.
Well, there's
repeat
that
it a couple
whole
times.
New Jersey. Is it New Jersey? The prosciutto.
Yeah, it was
That's
something like that
colloquial.
where like I had to ask her 3 times. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh yeah, you know that she describes it. I'm like, oh, prosciutto. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
prosciutto.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because in Italy, the bit that's confusing for those of us who only get prosciutto as the cured meat, over there it's ham. Prosciutto just means ham.
That's kind of what I thought.
So if you
That
just
is
ask
just-
for prosciutto,
It's uncured.
they don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Because you got to say you want. I mean, generally they know they'll give you you prosciutto e melone, right? Prosciutto with melon.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be prosciutto like we know.
Yeah, right.
Which is cured with melon. But if you want ham, you say prosciutto cotto, cooked prosciutto, cooked ham. It's delicious over there. By the
Interesting.
way.
Oh, I have to imagine.
Oh, the ham is so good. It's
Well,
so
I'm sure
good.
the quality of the food in general, pretty much
Yes,
anywhere
in general.
Europe.
One thing that annoys me about the U.S. is, I mean, you can get Virginia ham, you can get baked ham, but most of the cold cut ham is basically a form of Spam. Because you'll see in the slices they've taken various bits of the
Oh,
ham
kinda.
and formed them together, and I'm like, that's not.
Yeah,
no.
that's just
Where are the nice striations of
right.
flesh.
The flesh
yeah,
and the fat.
where's
you know.
that? Yeah. So I get very annoyed with cold cuts here. But we're digressing. So you're ready to get on the market again?
Yep,
Are you going to use an app?
probably.
Okay.
I don't know which one. I have to research it a bit more. One of my friends swore by Hinge.
Hinge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other people like Bumble because they're the woman who makes the first move. So it's kind of like if somebody's approaching you, you already know they're interested in you as opposed
Do you
to.
know that Bumble was developed by a woman?
Yeah.
And do you know why she started it? So she and her boyfriend had a different app that they started. I can't remember which one. And then they broke up and he harassed her. He sexually harassed her.
Oh.
And so she left him and went off and started Bumble.
Interesting. I knew it was created by a woman, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I think
that
she's
was
still
her.
the CEO. Yeah, so that's good. We want to support women's businesses.
Yeah. So no, something like that I would definitely try out.
Interesting. And I wonder, would you put on your profile that you are a nude art model?
I go back and forth, and I would never keep it a secret. I would definitely tell people. If part of me thinks, okay, if somebody's like really weirded out by that, let's not waste each other's time.
Okay.
Other people might think,
So that's a reason to put it on there.
right. Other
You
people
just
might,
as a screening thing.
yeah, right. Other people might think, hey, that's really unusual. I want to know more about this person because it's
Okay.
something we really don't hear about. The negative might be people might have like a more different image of you, like, oh, he's an art model. He's got to be all like a 6-pack abs and buff and
Well,
things
there'll
like
be
that.
a photo.
Well, yeah, there'll be a photo, but it's
see what you look like.
Got to be a clothes photo.
Okay.
So you won't be able to see underneath that. Like,
Yeah.
no, I don't. It's probably one of those ones. I might just say art model. And then
Yeah.
because people are going to ask me about it and say, well, is it nude? Yeah, it is. And how do you?
Yeah.
Now I do know that, and I think I had mentioned this story before. That I had a friend who was an art model, and she was a former coworker, and she was dating. She found somebody she really liked, so she told him that he was an art model, and he was kind of like. She had said something like, does that bother you? And he's kind of like, well, kind of. So what she thought was like, okay, you know what? She really liked this guy. She really wasn't an art model for that long, so she didn't have as much time spent on it as I did at the time. I think for her, she realized, okay, this was a sacrifice that she would make, whereas I would not make that sacrifice. I would
Okay.
just say, hey, look, this is what I do. If you're against
It's
it,
a part of what
right?
you do.
It's part of what I
part
do.
of you.
And it's part of me,
Yeah.
and I totally understand it if you don't get it, you don't like it, but I'm not going to stop. So if that's a deal breaker.
Right.
Let's just pay for our drinks and
Yeah. And for the listeners, if you want to find out how Jason became a nude art model, you'll have to go back and listen to the first and second episode of our talk with Jason.
Oh, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have you worked here long?
Since we opened.
How long was that? 2 p.m. today?
Oh, I mean, working like today?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we opened
You're open on the
2020.
2020, really? It's so new.
Yeah, September,
Yeah.
like middle of the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Huh. Yeah, you have to
Jeez.
pull it down on that side to make it go up,
Yeah.
which would help me a lot, actually.
You want to do it now?
Yeah, because otherwise you have to pull it underneath the fence. Yeah, and then oh, or you can make it go up higher. Interesting. Ooh. Like,
It doesn't stay.
no, you have to pull it this way under the fence.
No, but usually it stays like.
Oh, I see. But that's because it's outside of the spoke. I'm sure it's high
Not
enough.
like the
now.
other one, but.
Yeah, I'm sure
Can
it's
you
high
get-
enough. All right, yeah. Where were we?
Dating.
Dating, right.
Whether or not I would bring
Right.
this up.
But you wouldn't be worried that there might be fetishists
There could always be that type of person
who are
out
like,
there.
ooh, I've never dated anybody who was this
Oh,
kind.
no. There definitely could be people
Yeah,
doing it
let
just
me,
for the...
yeah, this is
for the
exciting.
right,
Yeah.
they're doing it for the novelty as opposed to like, hey,
Yeah.
I find this really interesting, or hey, tell me more about
Yeah.
that sort of thing. I don't discount the possibility, but you
And
know.
then also there's the thing that if this guy is so confident in himself that he can be nude in front of people, I can't date him because I don't have that sign of self-confidence.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
See? And then there's the other kind of thinking, which is this guy is so self-confident that he will get undressed in front of people. He must be hung like a horse. You
No,
know?
there could easily be again people.
Because no Twinkie dick dude is like getting undressed in front of people. That's what I would think.
Right. So I mean, yeah. So I could easily see. Oh, yeah.
So there are all these different elements.
Right. Clearly, that they're thinking, yeah, that's going to be the case because, like, well, yeah, well, why else would he? You know, he wouldn't be taking his, clothes off in front of people if he had a
Like,
small
because
pecker.
nobody takes their clothes off willingly. That's crazy.
Right. Exactly. I mean, especially too when you're talking about men, which is that's still the.
Even women not taking their
Oh
clothes
no, no.
off willingly.
Well, I mean, no. I totally get that, but the fact you don't really see full frontal male nudity in most
No.
entertainment these days.
No.
There was a time being in the 70s, I think, where it was rare, but you would have some movies where you
yeah.
could see that.
Well,
but
actually, the U.S. has gotten more prudish.
oh, easily.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Back
there's-
in the 50s, 60s, 60s, and 70s, it was whatever, and then it's gotten kind of the other way. I think it was the shoulder pads, the 80s.
yeah, that
I
threw
don't
everything
know.
off.
It was the big business taking over and sort of return to old-fashioned sexism almost.
Yeah, and I just kind of think it's also the pendulum swings both ways. And I
Yeah.
guess actually, especially coming off, the excesses of the 70s where,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
almost an overcorrection,
Yeah.
so to speak. But you're right. I could easily, see somebody thinking, well, yeah, this guy's going to be, 8 inches in beer can girth and rock hard abs because why else, why
Yeah.
else would he be, if he was just Joe Average, why is he taking his clothes off in
Yeah,
front of
who
people?
would do that if
Right.
they just look average? But what is your experience of what most art models look like?
We come from all walks of life. We come from, I don't know, there's been a lot of turnover.
What about the men? The men, the women, are all the women skinny,
No,
beautiful
no.
creatures?
No, I know of at least 2 or 3 women I think you could say are Rubenesque. That definitely.
Plus size.
Yes,
Rubenesque is the artsy way of saying it.
and no, there's others who are probably 90 pounds soaking wet. That
Wow.
there's now I will say that I think that I had a conversation with a female art model friend about this, and we both agreed that women models here tend to skew younger, men tend to skew older. I would say the typical
Okay.
male model, probably white, although there have been people of color, but I would say probably white, or predominantly white. I would say mostly middle-aged to senior citizen.
Okay.
You definitely tend to see a lot of gray-haired male models, and I
Really?
don't know why that is. Body-wise, again, all over the place. There's some dudes that are totally jacked. There are people who have the body of a 50 or 60-year-old man.
Oh, okay.
Ranges all over the place.
And do you think that there are more art models who are male here because DC has a larger gay population? Are some of them gay?
Some are gay. One of my friends is, who's an art model, and he was kind of my mentor for a little bit. Like, not a full-time mentor, but we had a portrait class together. So there was a lot of downtime because it was a facilitated class, so they would have the models go into the hallway while the professor did the critiques and the lessons. So he gave me a lot of great advice about like how to get set up, and he was very encouraging. There are gay and bisexual art models. I don't know what percentage of that is compared to the total male art model population, but there definitely are some. As to the surplus of male models here, and specifically why a lot of them tend to be older to begin with, I don't know. I think I speculated at one point that maybe it was because they already have their career in the rearview mirror, or they're still working, but they're high up in their company that they can do things like work odd hours, like during the daytime, like when a lot of art classes.
Do you think that CEOs are doing nude art modeling?
No, not CEOs, just like somebody like maybe, in the upper levels of government, up on the GS
Really?
scale.
I would not think so.
Well, I had one person who used to work for DOD.
Really?
Yeah.
You betcha we're going to leave it hanging there. Thanks for listening to M's Adventures and Storytelling with Jason, the nude art model. This was part 2. Please come back and listen to the next episode when we'll continue our discussion about nude art models, male and female, body image, dating, and so much more.